Cleansing. Incineration. Annihilation. Canceling. Surprises.
Howdy, do Exiles. I want to welcome you guys to the next build guide. Gleed, did I just say Gleed? What the hell is Gleed? Bullied Gladiator. I don't know. Don't ask me what the hell is a Gleed. I want to welcome you to the new guide for 3.26, the second guide. It's probably the only. This is probably I'm only going to be doing these two, but it's Bleed Gladiator, max block, all that hoopla. Okay, and this has pretty much cleared everything in the end game for me. 80% deli, the fear, like all the good stuff. You get all your watchstones. It's a breeze. It's an absolute joke of a build. It's phenomenal. It's amazing. It's tanky. It does pretty good damage, and yeah, it's just a great all-around build, and I'm pretty sure this is the build I will be playing in 3.26 and or RF Elementalist Golem, just because the changes they made are they're really nice. Golem's got buffed pretty big, but that's not what we're talking about right now. We're talking about Bleed Glad. I want to go over the POB a little bit because this one, unlike the SRS, this is a single POB from level 1 to 100. So you'll get it. You'll come up to the top right here, and you'll see a bunch of loadouts, right? So this Act 1 loadout, this is your Act 1 tree, your Act 1 skills, and your Act 1 gear, which obviously there are none. It also changes the configuration to Act 1, right? So now you can just do Act 2, Act 3, Act 4, and then in Act 6, I start tracking some gear so you guys can have an idea of what I'm leveling with. Newsflash, it's all pretty terrible stuff, right? And so this POB is extraordinarily easy to follow. The skills list has full notes, everything that you could possibly need or want to know about this build is either in the whatever loadout or whatever part of the game that you're in, and the gear, skills, and or tree section, it's there. Not to mention a full breakdown of how to craft your vendor recipe for fizz weapons as you level. Just little tips for getting certain orbs or shards as you level. A complete Act 1 through 10 breakdown, what to get from quests, what to do before you end Act 10, mid-game gearing, and a list of all the mechanics that this build is good at. Spoiler, it's good at literally everything except for Legion. So have fun with that. We got some mapping notes here. This POB is absolutely chocked full of information. It's kind of crazy. Now, as far as build philosophy goes, this may leave some with you with a bitter taste in your mouth. I don't know. This is the way I prefer to build, and the way I have built this, right, is by the time we get to maps, this is us in Act 10, right? You will notice that we're taking a ton of travel notes and just like, we're not taking this jewel socket. We're not going into Hatchet Master. We're not finishing off Harvester of Foes, right? There's a lot of stuff that we're really just taking the travel node, right? And so those are all boring. You're like, those put me to sleep. So that when you get to the end game, every single level from level 70 something to level 100 is a very meaningful. You're getting block, you're getting damage. I mean, you're getting masteries. Once you hit the end game, you'll start to see a nice solid curve in damage. All right, because you don't have to be like, oh man, I gotta travel 5 nodes before I can start getting this notable. That means I gotta get 5. No, that's boring. You know why? Because we already did that. That's why it's great. We did that at like level 18. This is my build philosophy, okay? I like to get all the BS and the boring stuff out of the way so that when I get into maps, I'm not like, oh, I don't have any damage. I don't. Blah, blah. You start to curve very nicely into red maps. I'm going to say this now. It's a little slow in the beginning, but the build picks up. I promise you, the damage is there. You're going to fly through the campaign. Once you get to, say, probably like around Act 3, Act 4, you just like, you start to skyrocket. It becomes a really quick and engaging process. Save for the fact that, this all depends on whether or not you're crafting your vendor weapon, your vendor recipe. Highly important. You have it right here. It'll tell you everything you need to know. Keep up with your weapon. That is if you're feeling like you're weak, it's probably your weapon. Like almost all of the time, it's probably your weapon that's holding you back. So yeah, I'm not going to go over the tree too much because, frankly, there's not really a whole lot. There's no clusters. There's like a handful of jewels. We're talking like 3 jewels, and they're just basic run-of-the-mill, some strength and dexterity, bleeding, bleed duration, stuff like that. It's real cut and dry stuff. Masteries are really, really big on this build. We get 10% more damage with hits on enemies that are on low life. That's a conditional. 10% more maximum attack damage. We love that. Bleeds deal damage 15% faster. We have more damage in Blood Stance and more area of effect in Sand Stance. We got some mana reservation. We got aura effect. It's all wonderful. It's all very nice. So come here, do your loadout. Right, you go to the skills section, you got your level 100 skills all nice and prettied up for you. And you're like, man, what do I do in Act 4? Just go to Act 4. It's all right there. You got notes, you got everything you need. You got the tree, you're good to go. As far as, things that you need to be aware of in this build, there's not really too much. It's really just about swinging and bleeding and just putting damage on the field. That's really all this build is. You're extremely tanky. You do great damage. You're not going to die a whole lot. And it's all very straightforward. I think this is more straightforward than the SRS build. You're going to pick up Gratuitous Violence first in Act 4. In Act 8, you'll get Jagged Technique. This is the point where you really start cooking, right? Because your bleeds are guaranteed to be aggravated now. That's when the build, you skyrocket to the moon. And then in Act 10, we get our Determined Survivor. We get Lucky Block and whatnot whenever we hit our Uber. It's still good to be cautious in early maps until you get Uber because you don't technically have Lucky Block yet. But you're still going to feel fairly tanky. Now, Act 2 into Act 3, I like to rush Resolute Technique. And I like to do this so I can drop my precision and pick up and run Herald of Herald of Purity, as quick as humanly possible. This talks about the library. I'm not going to go too much into the individual acts. There are more than enough notes and more than enough information in this POB for even the newest of new player to hop in and figure it out and get the game cleared. I fully stand by this POB. Now, as far as the in-game POBs go, they're more or less the same. There's a level 100 POB, which is a bit more conservative on like the conditionals. Like we're running initial pride effect, and we're not running that they're on low life, right? And so we're missing quite a bit of damage. However, there is a POB that's called level 100 with conditionals. And we're at about 13.1 million overall DPS. And that is, that's low life. That's pretty much everything, maximum, pride effect, all that good stuff. And so, there's quite a bit of setups that you're going to have to get through. But luckily, it's all in one single POB. The gear, extremely basic. A Shaper Shield with some regen, physical damage reduction, and max life. Just a res, life regen, and max life helmet. One thing I will point out that I think is very important to mention is that on our rings we do run at least one of the non-channeling mana reduction crafts, and we also run the reduction of mana cost implicit on our helmet. This really, really, really helps with our mana, and it brings the cost of our skill down to 18. And I would recommend doing both of those things. And if you're still feeling a little bit tight, run another craft on your second ring, and you'll be more than fine for your mana. Royal Plate, same thing as before. Stack some life regen. We don't have like a massive amount of armor, so a little bit of physical damage reduction does go a long way. And, we got some Fizz taken as Ellie. Global Fizz damage. Fizz.multi. We had some damage per strength. Chaos, Lightning. I mean, this gear is very basic, but it is crafted on the best bases. We have 77, 76, 76 Ellie res. Capped out. Chaos res. 90% and 88% chance to block. 90% physical damage reduction. 515 life regen. We have Leech from Blood Rage. And we have recover 4% of life on block from our Shaper Shield. When I tell you that we are soaking damage, we're soaking a lot of it, right? It's a crap ton of damage. Just a real basic run-of-the-mill. I should have probably upgraded this, but I was like at the point where I've done almost everything I wanted to do in the game, minus Ubers. And so I was just like, whatever, we'll just make a new character. Your Anoint is an influence. It gives us a lot of non-curse aura effect, which helps our pride, and we got purity. And so that all lends itself to more bleed damage. Then we have a very simple Chaos Ring with, res and max life. Same thing here, pretty standard fare. Now, I ran every bit of 3.25 without a Rizlathus coil, and I believe I ran with this heavy belt. And there's a couple of ways that you can do this. I personally like running with a heavy belt. You're going to lose out on quite a bit of damage. However, you're still going to be close to about 10 mil. What were we at? 9.5 mil. I cleared the entire game on this setup. I did 80% deli on this setup, right? It's a joke. It is the build is so good. So, but if you want that extra hump, then definitely go with the Rizlathus coil. It almost feels incomplete to some people without it. I just like the heavy belt because I get more strength, and then I get to allocate more tattoos, and each of those gives us 5% increased physical damage. And yeah, I don't know. I really like having a bunch of extra res, and we don't really get that when we're running Rizlathus coil. So I like to have a little bit extra. And so you can pick and choose. The build is more than viable with or without it. One is going to be more damage, one is going to be less damage, but you're able to get different mods. And so, yeah. So then we also have a tincture, which is beautiful. This is going to be insane for single target damage for us. And then we have just a life flask, quartz, granite, and quicksilver with the jewel or the jewels that we already spoke on. And as far as our in-game tree is concerned, we have leaf slam, faster attacks on life tap, vulnerability war banner on life tap, and then I have two different setups here for the in game. You can run blood and sand, enduring cry with urgent orders on life tap, or you can run eviscerate with awakened brutality, maim, and blood sand. They're both fun. I think this is probably the better option. I think overall, if you really want to make sure that you're not dying, and to really generate and keep generated, especially on boss fights, keep those endurance charges generated. Because I believe we're running 6 endurance charges and 4 frenzy charges and 6 endurance charges. And so this one, I think I would do this one overall. But if you just want to have some fun, eviscerate it is a lot of fun to play with. Now, I am pretty much done with Lacerate of Hemorrhage. It kind of sucks. Yes, you get a lot more damage, but the AoE is so bad. And I just got really tired of being like having this tedious clear. So I swapped the Lacerate. 9.5 is not that bad. It's pretty good. And so we run Lacerate with Awakened Brutality, obviously level 21. Volatility, Multi-Strike, Awakened Melee Fizz, and Ruthless. And you're probably asking, Tables, Multi-Strike, what are you doing using Multi-Strike on a bleed pill? That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Shut up. It's not. You're going to love it. And once you try it, you're not going to want to get rid of it. And I don't care what anyone says. Anybody. I refuse to use Lacerate without Multi-Strike. It's that good. I don't want to hear another thing about it. If you don't want to use it and you want to be stubborn, then use something else. But I'm going to use Multi-Strike and be very happy with it. And then we have Molten Shell, Blood Rage on automation, and it's being automated with Life Tap. So we don't have to spend as much mana. So claps all around for that. Then we have Skitterbot's Pride in the Herald of Purity on an Enlighten. And that's our skills. And those really pretty much don't change until, like right before you hit maps or like the level 80 to 90 tree when we're pretty much on a 5-link. And your main 4-link as you're leveling, Multi-Strike, Ruthless, Brutality, Lacerate, 3 red, 1 green, should be very easy to get set up during the campaign. We have our 3-link that we level from 1 to 12, Splitting Steel, Chance to Bleed, and Ruthless. You hit level 12, you get Lacerate, Chance to Bleed, Ruthless. And like I said, it tells you everything that you need to do. Every single thing that you need to do. Right? Then, you're in Act 3. You got Precise Technique. Then you no longer need Precision. And you see it drop from the list. It's not here anymore because we don't need it. So now we just use Vitality and Herald of Purity. It mentions that you don't have, you can't use Pride until later. So that's just a general overview. There's nothing super special. There's not anything highly conditional. It's literally follow these steps. Get a good Fizz weapon. Continue to upgrade it. Level. Do maps. Kill things. Get loot. Upgrade. Follow the guide. And make divines. And you're done. That's really it. I don't really know what else there is to explain with this build other than, there is no other than. That's really about it. So you guys follow from Act 1 to Act 100, and you guys will be set up for success. I give this particular build, as well as my SRS, my personal guarantee that you guys will have a great league start. I can't guarantee that you're going to enjoy the build because I have nothing to do with your enjoyment. That's on you. I don't know what you enjoy. I just know what I enjoy, and this is what I enjoy. And maybe you think you enjoy what I enjoy, but maybe we both don't enjoy the same things. And maybe you don't find out about that, and you come and blame me because my build is bad. My build ain't bad. You just don't enjoy it. That ain't my fault. With that said, I'm going to leave you, ladies and gentlemen, And I'm going to go play some Deadlock because I think I've beat this POB like a dead horse. There's not much else I can say on it. It's pretty phenomenal. It's super tanky. You're going to do a lot of damage, and you're going to have a heck of a time playing it just like I did in 3.25. I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and I appreciate y'all being here. If you do like this content, be sure to like, subscribe, comment, share the video, get my name out there, and give me some free promotion. Because you care about how this channel does, and you guys are fine people. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. We'll be doing some other stuff as we get closer to the launch of 3.26, and I bid you guys adieu. Be good, take care of yourselves, and God bless.